offensive lineman is the one being helped off to the side, and boy, this does not look good, Nick.
Not at
he
all.
is really hobbling and needing some help from his fellow linesmen. So I would imagine Lopez may not see further action in tonight's contest.
We certainly hope that he'll be okay, but he needs some serious help.
Yeah,
you know, that's the problem you see every now and then with those big guys up front. Sometimes a guy will come under you and get hit and roll your ankle, and that seems to be what happened to Andrew Lopez.
Wow, the fact that he's having to be fully carried off the field obviously does not fare well for him for the rest of the evening. So I would say that Lopez is going to need a replacement, obviously, for the remainder of the evening.
It appears number 75, Ced Howard, senior at 6'2", 300 pounds, has just checked into the game.
That's a good-sized replacement.
Yeah, not bad. Now, Lopez is 6'3", 330, so Howard, ironically, is thinner than Andrew Lopez, but still a big cog to that offensive line. Joel Nunez at guard, Adrian Ledzema at center, and the rest of that Rams line.
Now this looks like the Rams we're used to.
But they face a third down and long, JR. Third down from their own 33. Check down to the tight end, Jordan Daniels. He makes a man miss, but can't get out of the arm tackle of number 7, Ben Madur. And the Bears, on their first drive of the game, do deliver a third down stop on the catch from Daniels.
Nice pass out into the flat there. Unfortunately, does not come up anywhere near the first down marker, so the Rams will have to punt this one off. And we'll see what Riverside Poly comes up with offensively on their first offensive scrimmage of the night.
Do-it-all special teamer Emmanuel Villa, number 11, is deep for Ramona. He is their slot receiver. He is a strong return man, and also is their starter at the punt spot. And he'll get rid of it for Ramona, as the Rams suffer a critical 3-and-out, hampered by that huge penalty they suffered, a 15-yard unsportsmanlike in the middle of this drive. Villa sends away a squib that flutters to the 30-yard line and has been down at around the 26.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise there, Nick. I think we did not expect Ramona to come out slow out of the gate like that, especially the way we have seen them earlier on in this season. But, hey, you know, at least they can kind of get themselves maybe a little bit more established second time out.
Yeah, in a league with Notre Vista, La Sierra, and Hillcrest, Ramona leads all teams in the River Valley League with 38.3 points per game. They've been so explosive. We saw them against JW North score 2 touchdowns in 10 seconds. So this team can break a game open immediately, but of course the Rams punt for one of the first times this year with Emmanuel Villa on the last play.
So we are seeing a change as Tajon Henderson is going to take the snap here offensively.
Henderson, number 5, hands to begin the game. And Isaac Vega of Ramona makes the stop immediately. Tajon Henderson, you brought him up. He is their listed running back and also linebacker. And it's interesting to see him play quarterback now.
Yeah, he's taken a few snaps so far in the season, so it's not too surprising that he's in the backfield. So, again, John Rice alluded to the fact that his team is a little bit banged up, and obviously Cloak, the starting quarterback that's usually in on each offensive play, is probably sitting this one out.
Yeah, Cloak second of the league in passing. He is out. Tajon Henderson, 5 for 6 with 90 passing yards this year. Certainly not a big sample size. And Henderson will get a chance in this game today against Ramona. Early in the first quarter, Henderson fakes and looks on his first pass of the ball game. He gets a good block, and there's Henderson on the run. And he's tripped up at the boundary. Number 17, Isaac Guerrero, makes his first stop of the game.
You can see the speed that Henderson does have. It was a bit of a broken play as he was looking to hand it off to somebody and nobody was there. So a little bit of miscommunication, if you will, in the backfield, and it comes up with really virtually nothing.
Well, through the first few plays, you could see Pauley would love to have their starting quarterback in there, William Cloak. 435 yards passing in just 3 games for Cloak this year.
He's had some impressive numbers. Henderson has definitely put up some great numbers as a running back and as a receiver. In fact, he's leading both yardage in both of those aspects of the offense.
It is interesting to see him play 3 positions as well as anybody. 3rd and a long 10. and they'll keep it on the ground, and the Rams are ready for it. Matthew Hidalgo steps in right away on the stop for Ramona.
Boy, this could be kind of a long night here offensively for Pauley, as it's a 3 and out. They lose yardage on that last play, and now this will give the Rams an opportunity to try to get things back up and running offensively here tonight.
Yeah, that was John Rice, as mentioned, on the run. Rams go back, or force the Pauley Bears to go backwards. It's a 3 and out for both schools. And the Bears will punt. Jake Valenzuela, number 1, is deep to return, but he won't get a chance. This ball towers to about the 40 and takes a favorable Bears bounce to around the 48-yard line.
Boy, this is nice field position here for the Rams of Ramona. Kind of interesting, that initially they came up with a different offensive-looking set. I imagine they're going to go back to their usual maybe plan here in the second time around here.
Yeah, pro-style offense Ramona has been most of the year, but they do have those triple option wrinkles. We saw that late in the season open against North and a few times over the next couple of weeks, but it seems they've gotten out of it with Jordan Daniels, Jake Valenzuela, Emmanuel Villa in there at wide receiver for him. On a 1st down and 10 to begin their second drive. Glad you're with us, Nick Rice and J.R. Ibarra from Ramona High School on homecoming night. On a beautiful night from Riverside. Another catch out of the backfield to Jordan Daniels. He makes a man miss, gets a block, and there he goes to the 30. There's Daniels down the sideline, and the tight end is in. 48 yards,
wow.
Touchdown Ramona.
Well, I tell you what, Daniels, he got through several different defenders to get himself into the end zone, so you got to credit him for his run after the catch to come up with that TD. Now that is the Ramona we're kind of used to seeing.
Yep. Jordan Daniels, Rams starting tight end, reels in his 3rd touchdown of the year on his longest play, 48 yards, all after the catch. A masterful job, too. Jake Valenzuela springing loose the tight end.
Whoa.
Bad snap. Here's Villa, who certainly can throw it, lobs the pass into the end zone.
Oh, my goodness.
And it's reeled in for a touchdown, or a 2-point conversion. Isaac Guerrero, number 17.
Goodness. When things go your way, they just go your way. In a broken, bad, high snap,
well, JR, that might have been what they drew up all along. Let's snap it high and make us fooled, and that's exactly what happened.
It's funny how that just kind of panned out, but this is a team that definitely has their act together, and it shows right there. And taking a broken play and taking it in for 2 points.
Easier than it looked, or harder than it looked, sorry. And for Ramona, when they are rolling, they're pretty good. When they're rolling and they also get a break like that off a bad snap and Villa throws a 2-pointer, they're impossible to beat.
That's the type of thing that'll fire you up for the rest of the football game. So let's, I'm sure, keep an eye on the Rams as they will continue to keep themselves, try to be hot and heavy through the remainder of this first half, already down to 6:18 in the first quarter. Henderson, one of the backs to receive this kickoff, so he's kind of a do-it-all kind of guy.
And he'll be deep. Here's number 11, Emmanuel Villa, fresh off of his 2-point conversion throw.
Nice kick.
Yeah, launches to about the 2-yard line on the hop to Ben Madur. There goes Madur to the 20, and he is swarmed at about the 24-yard line. The tackle from Matthew Hidalgo. And with 6:10 to go in the first quarter, fresh off the 48-yard touchdown from Johnson to Daniels, and a 2-point conversion too, Ramona leads 8-0.
So kind of curious to see what Pauley comes up with here. I'm sure Henderson will once again remain in the backfield.
By the way, just as a reminder, just underway in our other Riverside TV game, Jeff Gorham and Pep Fernandez has the call of Notre Vista and Linfield Christian. It is our second game of the week and our flex game of the week. We thank all of you on Riverside who went to our social media platforms and voted for what you wanted to see on Friday night on Riverside TV. And every Friday we've got more polls as you, the fans, decide what we see on Riverside TV. Henderson heads out of bounds.
Got a flag on the play.
Escorted by Perez with the flag, of course. It's a short gain from Henderson on his third run of the game. Hold.
Kind of like the idea of that flex type game. We give the viewers an opportunity to give us their input as to what games they would like to see here.
Yeah, because it happens all the time. A team that's supposed to look good doesn't end up looking good at all. So there's an opportunity to check out Notre Vista one more time. And we appreciate all of you throughout the year to stay engaged on Riverside TV. It's so fun to come in, JR, Friday nights, Saturdays too, and we even have Thursdays beginning this coming week of coverage of every school in Riverside, high school and college as well.
I think Riverside is definitely one of those cities where there's so much football action going on at both the high school and college level that we can bring it to you all here on Riverside TV.
And a lot of these guys that you see playing on Fridays and on Saturdays on Riverside TV, they shine on Sundays. They're expected, the Chargers are, to bring back J.C. Jackson, the league's best cornerback by deflections last year. In the NFL, he went to RCC and played right here in Riverside. So that's just one of the many great names that made it through the ranks to the pro level right here in Riverside.
Yeah, there's been plenty of players that come out of the city that have really shined in major league, really not just football, but baseball as well.
Yes.
And it looks like we also have another flag here, delay of game against the Bears, the Poly.
Also a mayor of the big city, Jeff Gorham, mayor of the city of Riverside. He also is a former Ramona Ram, so that's something.
Henderson once again in the backfield has taken the snaps.
Full house package. And the Rams are ready for it on the Pauley run. Well, we do not have a number 24 on the roster, but at least I don't on my roster for Pauley High School. But
nothing here, and that's just kind of typical of high school football. There's so many changes that take place, especially with the unfortunate aspect that the Bears are having some issues with injuries.
Yeah.
You're bringing kids in and out of maybe the JV squad.
And number 24 has been a bell count for them early in the ball game. Late in the first quarter, Ramona leads 8-0 against the pesky club and the Pauley Bears, but this drive has gone backwards in a hurry, JR. They face 2nd and 28 from their own 6-yard line. Pistol formation. It's a bad snap. Henderson's trying to dive on it, and the officials are going to have to sort out who came out to the bottom of this pile. The Rams think they have it.
No indication yet.
And they do.
Wow.
Ramona recovers. Picked up by Isaac Guerrero on the fumble recovery.
Boy, unfortunately here for Riverside Poly, 3 mistakes in a row with 2 penalties and 1 bad snap puts themselves in a really tough situation as the Rams have it 1st and goal.
It was a bad snap, but the drive got started with penalties and it ended with penalties. The Pauley Bears, most likely the youngest team in the John Rice era, is the club they're putting out there this season, and that was before the 8 starters went down with injuries last week. So this ravaged ball club facing a juggernaut in the Ramona Rams are off to a slow start. 1st down and goal from the 6-yard line. Villarreal and Bruins are in the backfield. Johnson feeds the Bo Bruins, and he is stuffed at the 5-yard line. Sensational defensive play from the junior linebacker, Kay Alums.
Yeah, great defensive work there on the line to keep Bruins to no kind of yardage at all. I don't think they're going to credit him with anything on forward progress. Maybe a foot or 2 on that one.
Right. Yeah, terrific play. Kay Alums on his 2nd tackle, number 22, is one of the few guys I've seen this year that meets Bo Bruins in the hole and makes the play to bring him down. The first defender almost never is able to bring down Bo Bruins. 2nd and goal from the 5. High snap. Johnson juggles, loses it at the 15-yard line, and Pauley had it for a moment. Do they recover? Johnson somehow comes away with the football.
Wow, we've seen that a couple of times here for the Rams, a high snap. So having a little bit of issue getting that connection from the center drives the Rams back to about their own 19-yard line.
This is a brand new turf field, J.R. Ibarra, and for some reason, that's almost made the snapping worse in this game. One bad snap apiece, and the Rams are back on the brink of the red zone. 3rd down and goal. Johnson's got an arm, and he'll use it right here. Jump ball to the end zone. Incomplete with a lot of contact. Late penalty flag, but that might be a good one. This would be a 1st and goal at the 1. Jake Valenzuela was the intended target with Jack Lua in the end zone.
We'll see the indication here.
8-0 Ramona. The Rams off of a punt on their first drive. They took advantage of a short punt from Pauly and converted on the opening play, a 48-yard touchdown to Jordan Daniels.
Yeah, they're calling it as a pass interference.
Yeah. Now, depending on where the penalty was committed, either Ramona could have a ball spot at the 2-yard line or a half the distance. And it appears the officials granted the penalty at around the 7-yard line. That's the spot of the foul. And it should be 1st and goal yet again for Ramona. It's hard enough to beat the Rams on a goal to go once. Pauly's going to have to do it twice.
This is going to be difficult defensively here for the Bears. You can't give the Rams that many opportunities to score because they will certainly take advantage of that.
Especially with Bo Bruins in the backfield. He's got a nose for the end zone. 45 career touchdowns over just 16 games. Bruins is in the block. Johnson evades the pressure first and then is taken down for a sack.
Ooh.
We saw a late hit from Bruins. That may be a penalty.
That's going to come up with a flag. Boy, both these teams kind of making some mental mistakes here early on in this football game.
Number 22K Alums is afforded the Bears sack.
Good pressure there by the Bears to get Johnson out of the pocket. And this flag will certainly go against the Rams.
Well, you see it in all levels of football. When you're told in game after game that you're the best team in this city and you should beat your opponent handedly, you'll see situations like this where a club will come out sloppy and not play their best football. And we've seen that from Ramona early, and Pauly's taken advantage of it. And John Rice is having an earful for the officials right now.
Yeah, he has an injured player down on the field, so that's one of the issues. Is it was almost like a blindside block by Bruins, unfortunately, so that put one of the Bears down on the turf. So I'm sure Rice is arguing the fact that, hey, that was beyond unnecessary roughness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was anything that was a targeting call.
Right. Well, after the Rams recovered a fumble, Isaac Guerrero, they had 1st and goal from the 7-yard line. They may be facing 2nd and goal from back at the 30 once they sort out everything that happened here. There's the Pauly training staff tending to number 21, John Rice Jr., the son of the head coach.
Oh, no wonder why he had special attention.
Right.
Not saying that there's any favoritism going on.
That's got to feel pretty cool, and we brought it up last year on a Pauly broadcast, having the son out there. And when asked to the head coach whether or not that is the favoritism, maybe we'll try and target or set up some offense for the coach's son, he adamantly denied it. There's just no way. Considering how John Rice Jr. doesn't have a single catch this year, that's the thing. They aren't exactly tailoring to the offense. This coach is all about winning football games.
Absolutely, and you consider the fact that both these squads have a father and son coach type of scenario going on. Nathan Johnson being the son of Ken Mashinsky, and then John Rice Jr. being the son of John Rice Sr.
That's so cool.
That is pretty cool. I have no issues with that. I know some people just see that as, oh, no, it's just nepotism, favoritism. No, I love seeing that.
Right, but these coaches wouldn't start him if they aren't starting caliber. And for Nathan Johnson and John Rice Jr., those guys certainly have been leaders of their ball clubs. Johnson from deep at the 27, he'll take off and is immediately wrapped up and taken down. Number 24 makes the stop.
Boy, I tell you what, the Bears have been really flexing the muscles there in the backfield defensively to keep from having Johnson have any opportunity to throw the football. Scrambles out of the pocket. Going to be 4th and long.
Well, for the Rams, they've had a peculiar kicking situation in quite a few games this year. So head coach Ken Mashinsky might be compelled to go for it here. They have 4th and goal from the 22-yard line, and the Rams have burned their first charged timeout.
If they decide to kick it, you're probably looking at a close to 40 yards here on the field
And
goal
it's
attempt.
deep on the left hash.
Yeah.
In the NFL, that's not that big of a deal. In high school, the hash, and in college too, is so far out of the upright, you've got to angle the ball just to hit the left upright, let alone to break it through. So it's a tough angle.
Consider the fact, too, Nick, look at the flags out over in right field. It's very breezy. It'll be against the wind if they do try to make the field goal attempt, but let's see what happens here.
So that's probably what the coach is thinking about, and that has to be why the offense is out there to go for it.
Yep, Johnson's there in the backfield. And this is a great test for your offense. You know, you have two very high-powered guys.
Actually, never mind. We might be seeing a field goal.
We
here.
are seeing a field goal attempt.
Well, the starting quarterback is out for the hold. And the snap is from the Rams. Jeremiah Acosta. Johnson, it's a low snap, but he picks it up, and that kick is low. It might have been partially blocked.
Yeah, it was partially blocked. Unfortunately,
No
it just did not have the trajectory that it needed to get up and over the defensive line. Gets partially blocked, and the Rams come up with nothing.
Well, for those of you just joining us, you haven't missed much. This game has been littered with turnovers, penalties, and mistakes. But the Rams, courtesy of a 48-yard Nathan Johnson to Jordan Daniels touchdown connection, lead the game 8-0.
Well,
Off a missed snap, the 2-point conversion was good out to Isaac Guerrero.
Well, I tell you what, that penalty was really quite a game changer, if you will, there for the Rams of Ramona. Unfortunately, it causes them to take a long field goal attempt that comes up with nothing.
And you never know if they did not commit that penalty, if maybe they felt a little better about the field goal on that goal to go. 1st and 10 from the 20. This is the 3rd drive of the quarter for the Pauley Bears. Tajon Henderson with a good block outside. He races to the sideline and is escorted by Perez out of bounds. And there's some extracurriculars, and another penalty flag is thrown.
There's still people hitting the turf here, so there's, as we mentioned, this is a rivalry game. These two teams kind of don't have the best blood between each other. You see some jawing going down on the field right now between a couple of players.
Well, the funny thing is, JR, both coaches denied that there was any added motivation to winning this game, but you could see the smile under their voice. Clearly, there's something a little bit more important about this game than the rest.
I don't think there's any question of the fact that, these two teams have faced off plenty of times through the decades, if you will. And this game is important. It's incredibly important. It's homecoming here for the Rams of Ramona, so there's that added aspect to it.
Right. And you think about these coaches, and you think about the parents and the players and everything. A lot of these guys on the other sideline. And you know that if you lost, you have 364 days to think about playing these guys again.
Oh, they will jaw at each other over the course of the year just to remind them, hey, we kind of beat you guys last season.
This is the type of thing that you put on a film and you show to your friends for the rest of your life, a game like this of such big importance in the city of Riverside. And right now, Pauley's hanging in the game. Late in the first quarter, 8-0 Rams. Number 24 on the run. And he dances to the 40. Stacked up by Isaac Vega and a host of other Rams on a scamper of about 2. Ken Mashinsky, head coach of the Rams, just earned his 40th career victory last week in a 40-0 shutout against Temescal Canyon. You heard me right. They beat Temescal Canyon 40-0. For Ken Mashinsky, he has built a winning program for the Rams, and them being at the top of the River Valley again, by this point, is no big surprise.
Not the least bit. Mashinsky with a ton of experience in terms of his coaching career as the first quarter comes to a close.
So the Rams lead the ball game 8-0, courtesy of a Nathan Johnson to Jordan Daniels 48-yard touchdown. And with that, we've got a quick update on the city of Riverside. Go ahead, JR.
I need my reading glasses.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm kind of an old guy,
That's all right. We got time.
Did you know, Nick, that
Okay.
September is Rail Safety Month, and California leads the nation in railroad trespass fatalities? That's not a good statistic.
I did not know that.
In 2021, there were 243 trespass fatalities. That's a lot of people. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents. That means no biking, walking near railroad tracks, only crossing railroad tracks at designated crossings. Do your part, see the tracks, and think of a train coming down that track.
Well, thank you very much, JR. I gotta say it, actually. One of my family members actually got hit by a train.
Really?
So
Wow.
It absolutely happens. It's less rare than you think. I just didn't know the exact number. We had friendly fire. John Rice run into one of the officials at the top of your screen there, but everyone's back in the fold. But yeah, it is certainly an actual thing. So appreciate you, JR.
Looks like we have another flag, maybe.
So as they figure out the penalty, JR, 12 minutes in the books, what are your thoughts of the first quarter?
You know, it's amazing how mistake-filled that was by both squads. A little surprising, if you will. I did not quite see that coming into this contest, but, you know, there's maybe those jitters, as we talked about, being a rivalry game. Everybody's trying to get that one-upmanship right off of the bat.
The Pauley Bears come into the game averaging over 20 points per game. False start of the offense. But the Bears just don't look as sharp as we've seen in games past. Fresh off a 40-8 crushing win against the Arlington Lions just a few weeks ago. Tonight, not only have they been shut out, the Bears haven't even reached midfield yet.
Yeah, there's been very little yardage when I look at the stats so far offensively here for the Bears. So they really need to try to generate something offensively as we start off this second quarter.
Down William Cloak and 7 other starters on the two sides. That'll certainly hurt the offense in a game like this. Off the false start, Pauley faces 2nd and 13. Out of the pistol, Henderson on a speed option. He'll turn the corner and runs out of bounds on a run of 5.
Nice pickup.
Taken down by the leader of the defense, by number 24 of Pauley, slow to get up. But the leader of the defense, Desmond Watkins, records his first tackle of the game.
Watkins.
He was an anchor of this program last year and has come back with an attitude and has really been everywhere for that defense.
An absolute beast, man. He has so many tackles, by far the leading tackler here for the Rams of Ramona, and one of the leading tacklers in all of the Inland Empire right now statistically. So you will see him all over this field as the Bears will take a timeout.
Yeah, another 12 tackles last week. That gives him 51 in 4 games.
That's amazing. That's
He's
quite an
just
astounding
incredible.
number.
So he wears number 23. Check him out. He is just about everywhere, sideline to sideline. He stands at 5'8", 195. Another one of those undersized linebackers.
Not the typical size you would want for a linebacker, but nonetheless, I think that size and speed really helps him from a defensive standpoint.
And you want to know what's the funny thing about football is that I rarely see a guy that's the quote-unquote ideal size actually play like the ideal player we think. You know, a lot of guys in the NFL and college and high school who are quote-unquote undersized wind up being the best players on the team.
Let me go way back in the NFL days to Nick Buoniconti of the Miami Dolphins. I think he was only like 5'9".
And the Patriots.
Yeah, he was just a small guy in stature, but a beast of a linebacker in the NFL.
All right, you got that era covered. We just saw Thursday Night Football yesterday. Derwin James. He looks skinny. He looks short. But I got to say, he looks like the best safety in the NFL. 2nd and 7, low snap. Henderson with miscommunication. He runs to his right, and Watkins hits him first. Vega wraps him up next. Henderson has been under duress most of the ball game, and he's taken down to the 41 there.
Boy, we also have one of their linemen coming up hobbling right now, 52. And again, we don't have a name to go with a number, unfortunately.
Oh, for Pauley? Yeah.
Yeah, for Riverside Pauley. And this will be a 3-and-out scenario here for Riverside.
Now, yes, they're down William Cloak, but JR, I'm a bit amazed that they haven't attempted a pass in this first half.
Well, you know, I don't know. As talented as Henderson is from a rushing and receiving standpoint, he does not have a lot of reps in terms of throwing the football. Ooh.
This punt,
kick.
certainly he didn't get quite the distance
Oh, it
he
touches a
wanted to.
ram.
Yep,
It's a
sure
live
did.
ball. Oh, man, the Rams are so fortunate because it hit the back. I believe it was number 2,
Nicky
Chavez. Nobody saw that punt so high into the air, and it brushed Chavez on the shoulder pad, and it was a live football.
And that is amazing how the ball just caresses right into his hands. That certainly is a play you see as a disaster most of the time.
That could have been a disaster here for the Rams because that would have given a first down there for the Bears of Pauley.
And you never know how the ball bounces and what sort of impact that'll have in the outcome of this game. Pauley could have had a 1st and 10 in Ram territory for the first time if they recovered. Instead, Ramona's given good field position, up by a touchdown. Bo Bruins, with room to the outside, slips a tackle and is upended to the 48-yard line. You can see the physicality of Pauley, and the Rams are taking some disgust with it, extracurricular talking after the play.
Well, you got to love the style of Bo Bruins. He waits for the play to formulate. He waits for that blocking to get ahead of him, and once he sees that, he will turn it up, turn on the speed, and get the yardage. Picks up 5 on the play.
We'll have updates of scores across the city of Riverside and beyond of the CIF Southern section at the half. Make sure to join us at the tail end of the halftime intermission right here on Riverside TV. Rams early in the second quarter lead the ball game 8-0. Shotgun snap on 2nd and 5. Johnson to Bruins, and the running back dropped it. He heard footsteps from Tajon Henderson and did not look the ball in before he went off running.
Yeah, he obviously had his eye on the ball and also eye on the defender there with Henderson, and that just distracted him enough to not come up with the reception.
And what's amazing about Bruins is he's a home run threat no matter where you put him. He had a return touchdown earlier this year. He has a touchdown catch, 10 touchdown runs. He is pay dirt waiting to happen.
Well, as we said, he's one of the leading scorers in all of CIF Southern section right now.
Right, so it's crazy to see him drop a pass like that. Johnson looks left all the way and finds his tight end at the 42-yard line.
Looks like it's close to a first down.
Wrapped up by Quintero, first down Ramona.
So they move the sticks here and get themselves a first down.
This has to be the first time we've seen such an explosive offense limited to one score in the first half of a game. Ramona just does not look like the explosive team that scored 38 points per game coming in this year.
Yeah, been a bit sluggish so far to start off this contest.
We'll see how they can finish this drive. First down from the Pauley 41. Daniels is the motion man.
Flags again.
He had plenty of room to run, given that play was dead. Could this be another false start on the offense?
Might be delay of game.
Delay of game.
Wow.
Well, the officials certainly are showing off their knowledge of the rule book in a game like this. We've seen a penalty of every variety.
You know, that's true. It's not just been one type of offensive penalty or defensive penalty. It's been a nice variety. We love variety, I can tell you that.
Of course. First and 10 at the 46-yard line off of the penalty. Bo Bruins on the inside. He is stuffed to the 45.
Wow, I tell you, the Bears have really defended Bruins very well. They have definitely been looking at game tape.
Yes.
Because it's been really effective so far in this first half.
It certainly helps when you've got a defensive tackle to shake the block like that. Number 51, junior Eduardo Martinez, makes the stop on a gain of 2. Early in the second, Rams by 8, second and long at the Bears 45. Play fake to Bruins. Johnson is going deep on a comeback, and he finds his man at the 34-yard line. Emmanuel Villa makes the catch.
Nice catch, nice toss there, and that's the type of stuff we normally see out of Nathan Johnson.
That was a gain of 11 on a 2nd and 14, so they still will face a third down off of the hit from number 88.
Still going to be shy of the first down by about 3, almost 4 yards.
What a fantastic drive. This is the sort of stuff that Ramona did not do consistently in years past. Nathan Johnson is a great wrinkle of this offense. Third down, Bruins nearly falls and motors his way across the first down. What a run. Number 88 with the stop. That's just enough. It should be just enough. The officials are talking, and yes, it's a first down.
Yeah, I thought he made it for sure. Nice run by Bruins because he kept his feet moving when he was just about down on the turf. Keeps the clock moving.
About 7 minutes left in the half. Methodical drive, and the quarterback is looking very comfortable right now. Good mix of run and pass on this offense. Number 5, Nathan Johnson, who just threw his 10th touchdown of the year to no interceptions in the first quarter. This one to Daniels. Another run to Bruins, inside to the 30, and there he goes. 25-20. Bruins to the 15, run out by number 88 at the 10. 21 yards to Bruins and a first down.
Nice saving tackle by 88. Once again, no name to go with the numbers, so we're just going to call him number 88.
Let's do it.
Great run by Bruins, though.
That is the offense. While it's hit and miss in this half, that's the sort of offense we expected coming into this game.
Yeah, Bruins just saw his talent showcased right there. Shows why he's one of the leading ground gainers in all the Inland Empire at present.
And he's got a nose for the end zone. Let's see if they feature him here. It was a disaster for the Rams in their last red zone trip. Bruins crawls to the 7. Spill by the Bears, Lucas Quintero. That's the second tackle of the game.
Boy, it's amazing how quick this first half has moved along as we're nearly under 6 minutes here.
And a lot of that time, over 4 minutes, has been on this drive alone. Really a great response. In a game like this filled with mistakes, nothing can calm a football team like a long drive like this.
Definitely gets you back on track offensively.
Number 26, Lucas Quintero, and number 9, Bo Bruins, Luis Villarreal in the backfield for Ramona. Villarreal and Bruins from the 7. Villarreal off the left side crawls to about the 4.
Love the misdirection they do. Everybody's expecting Bruins to grab the football, but they give it to Villarreal, a short little stocky guy, and he'll pick up some yardage to take it inside the 5.
5'3", 160, Luis Villarreal. Team's second leading rusher, and with Bruins as the bell cow of this offense, having Villarreal touch the ball like this certainly shows the confidence they have in him. Villarreal is in the block, and Bruins is wrapped up at the 2. Number 22, K. Alums, makes his 4th stop of the game. He has
slowly chipping away at that yardage, get themselves just that much closer on a 4th down scenario, 4th and goal, and Mashinsky's going to go for this.
Right. I'm sure after what they saw with the kicking last time, they feel better about a 4th down attempt at the 2-yard line. This drive began to their own 30. 4th and goal. Fake to Villarreal. Here's Bo Bruins, who strolls into the end zone. Touchdown, Ramona.
Easy run in there for Bruins on the score. Adds more to his stats. Now makes it a 14-point ball game here for the Rams.
And with 4:18 left in the half, the Rams will bring out the extra point group. And granted a bad snap, this should be a kick on the way from Emmanuel Villa. Out of the hold from Johnson. And it's good. 15-0 Ramona late in the first half. It should be noted, though, Pauly will receive the opening kickoff of the second half. So they've got a few opportunities here to get back into the game.
Now that's the type of drive that we're used to seeing out of the Rams of Ramona, just kind of methodically working their way down the gridiron to come up with another score, as we'll take another look at this run and touchdown by Bo Bruins.
Bruins had a key 21-yard gain to set up 1st and goal. 1 run to Villarreal, then 3 more inside to Bruins to cap off that drive. They pounded the ball in the teeth of that Bears defense. and it didn't look pretty, but they finally cracked through to the end zone.
I think this will help Ramona just kind of get in that offensive rhythm that we're used to seeing them doing through most of their contests.
Nick Rice, Jay Aribara here from Riverside, California, in a fast-moving first half that sees the Rams over the Bears 15-0. We have one other game active right now on Riverside TV. We'll give you a score update momentarily. Villa is in for the kickoff for the Ramona Rams. Madure stands deep, joined by 88, and number 88 will reel it in at about the 15, and he is smoked right away by Hidalgo. Late in the first half from Notre Vista, the Braves lead Linfield Christian 7-3.
Wow, that's a tight ball game. I was expecting maybe a bit more out of Notre Vista on that one, but must be entertaining to watch as well. I mean, we got an entertaining one here.
Yeah, that game is, in fact, potentially moving faster than this one. We had a 10-minute early kickoff time here in Riverside. We still got no word as to why they did that.
Well, I think by virtue of the fact it is homecoming tonight, so halftime is going to be just a little bit longer than normal. So they wanted to compensate for that aspect, and that's why we started 10 minutes early. So,
you know, Jared, that's why you're here.
That's why I'm here, to bring in that vital information.
Very important
about homecoming.
Henderson on the inside handoff. Ryan Dominguez on just his 5th carry of the season is dragged down to the 28-yard line. The Rams' Frank Manzo makes the stop.
Pretty good pickup. One of the longer pickups here for the Bears of Riverside Poly.
Yeah, about a 4-yard gain. Dominguez has 4 yards rushing on the year going into tonight. But Poly, down 8 starters, they are bringing in just about that entire bench to try and create something out of this offense.
Yeah, I think at this point you got to start doing anything possible to get some momentum offensively.
The Bears are searching for their first trip into Rams territory tonight. Henderson fakes the handoff, gets by Watkins, and strolls out of bounds, and he loses big yardage.
Well, I tell you, defensively, the Rams have been able to contain Henderson very effectively in this first half.
Officials are talking things over. There was a flag that was thrown on that run from Tajon Henderson. Let's see what's going on here. It's a false start on the offense.
Wow.
Interesting to see them run the play before making that call.
Wow, that'll be the 5th flag on the night for Riverside Poly.
Yeah, certainly a tough break. So, for the Bears, they've got to feel pretty good about their performance on offense tonight. The problem is on defense tonight. The problem is they're just getting nothing out of this side of the ball so far.
Yeah, that's been the aspect that's been the difference maker and the reason why the Rams are in that lead by 15 points. As you said, Nick, I think defensively they show themselves very effective. They just offensively they just can't get anything to rumble here.
Off the penalty, the Bears face 2nd and a long 11 and line up in another full house formation. Henderson fakes the pitch and heads outside immediately. The Rams are ready for it. Excellent open field stop by Matthew Hidalgo, number 7.
Again, you can see the great athleticism and speed by Henderson, but you can also see the great effective defensive elements of the Rams being able to contain him.
And considering how experienced that linebacking core is with senior Desmond Watkins, senior Matthew Hidalgo, and senior Isaac Vega, those are the 3 guys on that linebacking core, 23, 17, and 40. This is a team that's not going to buy those play-action passes. They feel very well coached and very knowledgeable of the offense they're facing tonight. Certainly a great play game for that defense early. Late in the first half, Rams up by 15. Henderson is under duress immediately and is run out of bounds quickly. It's a 3-and-out forced out of the offense with Dominic Chavez on the stop.
Yeah, this is beginning to show up. The inability of the Bears to throw the football is really beginning to make kind of a difference here.
And one intriguing notable here is that both teams have 2 timeouts, but nobody is using them, specifically for the Rams.
Yeah, clock is really moving along here. This is one of the faster first halves we've experienced so far in the 22 season.
Absolutely. This is precious seconds, though, for the Rams. They could formulate some sort of a drive. Let's see how they work the final minute and 37 seconds. Valenzuela lets the ball go, and it takes a favorable Rams bounce. It's been that sort of a night for the Pauley Bears. It's just a 13-yard punt.
It was a much better kick as far as length, but, boy, it took a bounce that was well in favor here of the Rams.
That's got to be the 3rd or 4th time tonight we've seen a live football bounce in favor of the Rams.
Yeah.
Even when they fumble, somehow it began on that 2-point conversion. They figure out a way to turn a fumble into a touchdown.
1.5 remaining in the first half. Plenty of time to try to make things happen, especially with that type of field position.
And Ramona has 2 timeouts. Johnson changes the play and lines up in the shotgun formation, joined alongside Bo Bruins. They'll go run. Bruins makes 2. Pauley Bears miss.
Man.
Make it 3. Foot race for 4. 40 yards for Bruins. Touchdown Ramona.
Man. That is typical Bo Bruins. Don't see any flags down in the turf, so it will count. Once again, one of the top reasons why he is one of the exclusive running backs in all the Inland Empire, and I would say also in most of southern section of CIF.
He made almost half of that Bears defense miss on his way to the end zone, and you saw why he's one of the best runners in all the state of California. The patience to wait for the hole to develop, the strength to break 3 Bears tackles, and then the speed to outrun the rest of the defense. All of it on display on his 2nd touchdown of the ball game.
There was a little bit of discussion. I guess they were a little upset that the band was playing before they were able to kick the football, so they were having a few words with the band director.
Well, kudos to the band. They're going to be on the field in just a few minutes. Villa for the extra point, and that kick is good. 22-0. It's the Rams in front with 1:23 left in the half. Let's check out that run again from Bruins, his longest on the night.
Wow. Able to elude some defenders right just beyond the scrimmage line and just turn on the Jets from there and take it in for the score.
And, you know, anybody in college who's looking at building their offense with a strong running back, a versatile guy who can do everything, return for you, catch passes, and run out of the backfield, check out this kid, number 9, Bo Bruins. I mean, there's no shortage of production. You want a guy that scores touchdowns? This is the kid right here. For
absolutely, totally agree with you. And I know we had a conversation with Ken Mashinsky, and apparently, as of right now, nobody's giving the kid any looks, which is really amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
I mean, I think this kid can be a great contributor at some local college or someplace here, at least at the community college level.
Right. He made a great point that I'd love to bring up about the college recruiting game and why it's even harder for schools, for players in those schools, too, to get noticed. Squib kick on the hop at the 11-yard line. And the Rams are ready for it. Joseph Soto makes the stop of 88 on the return. Number 6, Joseph Soto, on his first stop of the game. So we spoke to the coaches about the recruiting situation, and, you know, they mentioned the transfer portal being a big thing, and it does make sense. You know, in years past, most players can commit to a program for 4 years, but now every season there's an opportunity for a player to say, okay, I'm at a D2 school for my freshman year, but if I'm looked at, it's easy to get into the transfer portal and move up. And I think that's what a lot of programs are doing now. Instead of taking a flyer on a kid, they're going to wait to see if the guy can perform at the college level.
Yeah, that has made a huge difference. I mean, it's amazing to see the amount of transferring that has gone on in the last couple of seasons, especially at the D1 level, where you have players who maybe are not satisfied with being in one program go to another and then try to perform at a different level.
Right. Well, you certainly wish for the Bears that, you know, they let the clock wind, that maybe they had a little more urgency, JR. Here's a minute to go in the half. You've got the ball, and it's an opportunity to score some points here. We have yet to see the Bears attempt to pass tonight. Granted, they're down their starting quarterback, William Cloak, but they've got a guy with reps at the quarterback spot, Tajon Henderson.
Yeah, they're keeping it on the ground so far, and it looks like they may just let the clock run out, head themselves into the locker room, and try to regroup for that second half.
Ramona is the team that burns a timeout. That is interesting. If they use another one, they could get the ball back with about 10 or 15 seconds.
You know, don't put it past Mashinsky to think about that. I mean, if he can get a stop here, they'll have some very favorable field position.
And that's the sort of thing I'm curious about. I can't dive into the coach's mind. Maybe you can, JR. What do you think he's, feeling right now with the team not attempting a pass here late in the first half?
Well, I mean,
obviously down your quarterback, it does make things tough.
It does make things tough, and you got to give Pauly some credit for doing what they can to get things moving offensively. But when you don't have the ability to throw a football, especially against a team like Ramona, it is going to hurt you big time. Trying to keep it on the ground, especially when you have a very effective defense as you have in the Rams, it's just a very tough thing to do.
And the Bears may just try and milk some clock here as they bring out two receivers on a third down and about 13 to go. This could be their final offensive play of the half. And the Bears elect to run. Juggled, and here comes the running back who turns the corner and nears the first down, number 24 on the call. And he is stopped about a yard away. And I think that type of run encourages Mashinsky to not use that final timeout.
Yeah, that's really the longest gain of the night here for Pauly.
It should be noted the Bears do have a few timeouts, but they do not use any. We played 24 minutes from Ramona High School, and the Rams enjoy a 22-0 lead. It didn't look pretty, JR. They had numerous mistakes, penalties, turnovers, you name it. But they're up by 3 scores in a big football game against a rival.
I'm sure that'll be the discussion in the locker room, is just trying to get rid of those mistakes, even though they do have a 3-touchdown lead at present. And Pauly really needs to get things going offensively from the standpoint of maybe trying to throw that football, as they will take the kick to start off the second half.
Homecoming and halftime festivities are just about ready to get started at Ramona High School. Did you know that September is Rail Safety Month and California leads the nation in railroad trespass fatalities?
I was not aware of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should listen at the end of quarters. In 2021, there were 243 trespass fatalities. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Only cross railroad tracks at designated crossings. Do your part. See tracks. Think train. We'll have stats, highlights, and analysis from this game and scores from across Riverside and the southern section when we come back to Riverside TV. We're at the half at Ramona High.
The nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month. Please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month, so please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away, stay safe.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be it's perfect.
Today is our very first building of a Little Free Pantry. We are building a Little Free Pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
These pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other, instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares as an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a little free pantry in their neighborhood.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month. Please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD. Road traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main Cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help, so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month, so please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away, stay safe.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I wanted to because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be perfect.
Today is our very first building of a little free pantry. We are building a little free pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
these pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other, instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares as an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a little free pantry in their neighborhood.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month. Please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD, road traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431. And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help, so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month, so please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away, stay safe.
My name is Melissa Olmos, and I'm a driver operator in the Department of Refuse for the City of Riverside, and I've been doing this for 4 months already. I really enjoy it because this job is not like a routine, so every day is different. So I'm assigned to do the bookings. The residents call to the city to be serviced, and these items is large furniture, mattress, and appliance. The residents, they have 2 times a year, and these items, I put it in the back of the packer, and the packer crashes and compact these items so I can take it to the dump. My favorite part of the job is driving the truck. Since I was younger, my dream was to be a driver. And now that the City of Riverside gave me this opportunity, I really enjoy it. I'm really proud of what I do because when I go to the residents' houses, I see the faces, they're happy because we're picking up the items they don't want anymore. So I try to get in here because this is a better job for me with a better stability. And I want to too because I want to set a good example for my 2 daughters that I have. One of my hobbies that I have is go hiking. I like the outside activities like camping, and I also enjoy riding motorcycles. If I have to describe my job in one word, it will be it's perfect.
Today is our very first building of a little free pantry. We are building a little free pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside.
Welcome back. Ramona leads Riverside Pauley 22-0 at the half. We had the halftime festivities of the band coming out and homecoming king and queen announced. More on that in just a moment. We'll have stats and highlights from this game momentarily, but first let's quickly check out what's going on across the city of Riverside. Nota Vista at the half leads Linfield Christian in our other Riverside TV game 15-3. The Braves with the win. They would be in the tough River Valley. Patriot is in that 3-horse race with 1 loss atop the River Valley, and currently Patriot has shut out Fontana 18-0 at home. La Sierra leads Bolsa Grande 35-0, and yesterday we saw Taquitos get the better of Hillcrest in a 20-13 final score. And for those high school football buffs, number 2 team in the country, St. John Bosco, plays tomorrow and just underway tonight against the Hawaii team in Mililani. Mater Dei leads Mililani 21-7. So that is your trip around the CIF Southern section and in the city of Riverside. JR, did you think you got enough information for the second half?
Absolutely. That's what we do around here at Riverside TV. We are filled with information.
All right, well, here comes the second half kickoff on a squib from Villa. Scooped up on the run by the Bears, Ben Madur. He is spilled immediately. Taken down by the Rams' Gavin McGowan, the sophomore's first tackle of the game. And as we prepare for the start of the second half, let's check out our first half heroes. And it begins with the team on offense, the Pauley Bears. Do-it-all quarterback Tajon Henderson had 12 yards on 6 carries in what was a rough first half for the Bears, but they made up for it with a stellar defense led by the Bears' K alums. 4 tackles, 1 for loss, and a sack. The defensive back was brilliant for the Bears, keeping that defense in the ballgame. Meanwhile, for Ramona, of course, their do-it-all running back, Bo Bruins, was spectacular yet again. Their bell cow had 11 carries and 2 touchdowns on 91 yards rushing He had a drop in the receiving game, so it was a struggle out there for him. But on the ground, he was as good as it gets. Ironically, he had a worse average in the half than he does for the year. So we may see even more things out of Bruins in the second half.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to think that was actually a slow first half for him.
Yeah. About 8 yards a run for Bruins through 2 quarters. Here is number 5, Tajon Henderson, pulled down immediately by Isaac Vega, who was one of the first half heroes for that Rams defense. That is his 4th tackle of the game, matching Matthew Hidalgo for the team high. 4 tackles and 1 for loss for the senior linebacker. And do-it-all defensive back, too. That is Matthew Hidalgo, number 7.
Already a rough start here for the Bears prior to the first snap of the second half. They had a flag turn up, so that pushed them back 10 yards.
And you can tack that on to the laundry list of penalties that the Bears have suffered in this game.
Already 6 flags on the night.
By the way, for folks watching tonight, we are in the 3rd quarter, not the 4th. Here's Henderson in a foot race. He has 1 to beat, and that's the man who makes the stop.
That is the Henderson that people are accustomed to seeing. You can see the speed once he turns the corner. He has that great ability and finally was able to get himself into the secondary.
Well, Henderson had 12 rushing yards in the first half of this game. That run is good for 25 and a Bears first down. By the way, we're in the 3rd quarter, not the 4th quarter, folks. Rams lead the Bears 22-0 as we're just underway in the second half.
Are we trying to get out of here early? Is that the thing, maybe?
Well, I got to say.
Or did we miss a quarter that we just didn't...
The thing is, the kettle corn here at Ramona High School is so good.
It is good.
That I wouldn't doubt it that we missed the 3rd quarter.
If you come here to Ramona, get yourself kettle corn.
Another design run for Henderson. And he is hammered by Watkins, and Henderson is down.
Also flags on the field, and Henderson's very slow to get up.
And the thing is, they only have one other listed quarterback on the roster, sophomore Ryan Dominguez, number 9. And we saw him tote the ball earlier in this game. For head coach John Rice, he's got to feel pretty frustrated. It seems half of his football team's gone down with injuries this year.
Injuries have plagued this team through this first half of the season, and we kind of heard that frustration in his voice when we talked to him early in this game, prior to the game. And it's definitely reared its ugly head through this contest.
Henderson's talking with the coaching staff right now as the camera's on the Ram defense to sort out the penalty. It's been a busy night for him. Jared, do you have the penalty numbers for us tonight?
Well, Pauly, are they going to count that as a? I did see a marker go on the field, but
I guess they picked it up.
They picked it up. So now we're up to 6 flags for Pauly so far. I'll have to total up the yardage.
I got it. 35 yards on 6 penalties. JR doing all our stats tonight.
I'm not a mathematician,
but you're a statistician.
I'm not a calculator.
I don't know. I'm looking at my sheets here. You're pretty darn good at that stuff. The Rams' Matthew Hidalgo records his 5th tackle of the game. We came into the broadcast raving with linebacker Desmond Watkins in his production throughout the course of this year, but the team's leading tackler has been number 7, Matthew Hidalgo, for the Rams.
Everybody else beginning to step up, and that's what you want to have happen before you head yourself into league play. Rams are going to be fortunate. They're going to have a bye week next week to kind of heal things up and get themselves ready for River Valley League a week after that.
Right. Rams have a bye, and Pauly is at home against the Sultans of Sultana next week. Intriguing full house formation here. The direct snap for the Bears is to number 2.
Again, no name to go with the number.
Right.
That's just kind of the way we're at right now.
Frank Monzo records the stop as the Bears have established their first trip into Rams territory tonight. It took them a half and a few minutes into the 3rd, but the Bears are searching for their first points of the game.
Maybe this is the key here for the Bears of Pauly, is to try to make things up in the backfield.
Well, it must have been an inspiring halftime speech from Coach John Rice.
I imagine it was pretty flowery.
Right. Flowery is an interesting word. Well, it'll be a flowery discussion on the sideline if the Bears can't convert this. It's a 4th and short, and here comes Tajon Henderson. Ooh. They line up the jet sweep. There's Ben Medure. This should be a hold. and he is tripped up at the 30-yard line. That is a crushing penalty on the Bears if this is on them. The tackle from Dominic Chavez, but this one, it appears is coming. Yes, it is. It's coming back.
It's a holding call. Man, that did not come at the right time in terms of the Bears getting the ability to convert the 4th down. Great play as it formulated.
Right, just a bad break. This will give us a chance to look at the leading defenders for the Rams tonight. Matthew Hidalgo with 5 tackles and 1 for loss. Isaac Vega with 4. 3 stops for Desmond Watkins. 2 tackles and a fumble recovery, and a big one to swing the momentum of the first quarter this game from Isaac Guerrero. Joseph Soto with 2, Michael Perez with 2, and Frank Monzo with 2. So the Rams haven't had that one-man wrecking crew on defense like we've seen Watkins this year. It's been a team effort. And that team effort forces the Bears into a 4th and 10 in a brutal penalty on the offense.
Yeah, instead of 4th and short, got 4th and long now.
Henderson's last run was for 9. He's going to need 10 here. He heads to his right, gets by one man. He's near the first down, and he gives himself up right at the first down marker.
I think he's got it. Yep, they're going to give it to him.
Well, Henderson, I'm sure, is breathing a sigh of relief. Had he tried a bit harder on the sideline, he could have gotten about 4 or 5 more yards. He gave himself up there.
So Henderson looks like he's been able to make some adjustments in the running aspect of it.
Right.
Able to penetrate into the secondary of the Rams and gets a first down, puts themselves back into some decent field position.
Well, speaking of flowery conversations, what do you think the Rams coaching staff will talk about with this defense after they give up a 4th and 10? It's got to be an interesting discussion.
That will be a discussion on the sidelines.
Up 22-0. Coaching staffs are never happy, by the way. Midway through the third quarter, Ramona's up 22-0. By the way, we'll have homecoming updates and festivities. We'll bring you those updates in a matter of moments. Henderson turns the corner and gets by Perez for near first down yardage on a run of 7.
Thought I'd seen a flag, but I was sadly mistaken.
Well, there's something about this Bears football team where we were wondering when this offense would erupt like this.
Yes.
They're capable of it, and it seems like now's the time where they've got a game plan going, and the Rams just can't seem to stop them.
You kind of sense a little bit of an up-tempo going on here with the Bears as well.
Number 2 is the man behind center in the shotgun formation of a full house package. He fakes right, slashes inside, and Vega crushes 2 after a first down run. Big hit from the Rams linebacker, his 5th tackle of the game.
You can see the adjustment that the Bears have made with that full house in the backfield, and I think that's kind of making the difference here, Nick.
I got to tell you, this is the first time I've seen a formation like that regularly.
It's been a long time since I've seen a formation like that. That's old school, man.
Let's check it out one more time, this time to the left. I mean, those are like 3 fullbacks.
Yeah, that is really
in
old
a pistol
school formation.
2 finds a seam and gets somersaulted like a Derwin James yesterday. That's Desmond Watkins, who commits the flag, and he's feeling pretty good about himself.
Yeah, he's also going to feel a nice penalty against him as well.
Did you see that Derwin James hit last night? He carried Travis Kelce back in the same way.
Well, watch
like
this.
A sumo wrestler. There he goes.
Boy, slammed him to the ground, and immediately the flag comes out. I'm sure he'll have a little discussion on the sideline about that one.
Well, the officials are wiping off the dust from their rule books. They're on page 500 right now. Okay, how many times have they called somersault on the defense? Unsportsmanlike is a better description for it. That'll be half the distance for the Bears. They've used up nearly 6 minutes, JR, but it's been a great drive.
Wow, it has been, and the adjustments they have made so far have shown themselves effective. Of course, the Rams are not helping by inducing the penalties of that nature.
What's funny is that Derwin James wasn't flagged for the same thing in Thursday Night Football yesterday. But I got to say, that probably should have been a flag in that game, too. It's unsportsmanlike, certainly. You can't carry a guy like that and throw him down.
Makes for a great highlight, even though it is a penalty.
Right.
I'm sure we might see that somewhere down later in the season.
And Desmond Watkins wants a word with the officials. So, JR, we saw the homecoming king and queen introduced. Wait a minute. Desmond Watkins might have just been ejected from the game.
Ejected? I think he has been ejected.
The league's leading tackler. He had a River Valley best 51 tackles this year. He is such a valuable player and a captain of that defense. And Ken Mashinsky wants a word.
Yeah, they are having a discussion on the sidelines there.
Now, unsportsmanlike is one thing. How can you kick a guy out of a game for one play like that?
There was no indication, but Herman Thomas, the referee, is having a very animated discussion with Ken Mashinsky right now.
Sophomore running back Peter Mesa is going to take his spot at the linebacker position. Mesa stands at 5'4".
Wow.
Watkins a bit bigger at 5'8". So
that's an awful key player to lose.
Right, absolutely. This really is first major snaps for Mesa, and there he is joining Isaac Vega for the Rams in that linebacker spot. The Bears have reached the red zone in a drive led by all runs from Henderson. He heads to his right. Henderson gets by one man. He's at the 10. Henderson is buried out of bounds. That's Joseph Soto on the tackle, and I wouldn't blame the Bears for losing their cool here. It's another hit out of bounds from the Rams.
Yeah, it is another flag that should go against the Rams. Late hit, they're probably going to call it. Henderson once again turning it around into the backfield, just shy of the touchdown.
You know, this is the sort of game where you can, as an official, maybe start to feel compelled to throw guys out of the game. We saw it on the first drive where Bo Bruins committed a pretty egregious late hit behind the back of a defender.
Right.
And that's really set the tone for what's been a chippy football game.
Well, it is a rivalry game, as we've called it. Both these teams not necessarily probably going to visit each other during the Thanksgiving holidays.
Probably not.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of those tough things.
I mean, there are friends. I mean,
right.
I know there are friendships amongst these players, as maybe a lot of them went to middle school together.
Yeah, JR. Okay, all the pleasantries. I got to tell you, you know, Paulie might want to second guess playing Ramona if they're gonna, you know, have all these crazy plays. I got to say, it's been a chippy football game, but the Bears have got to feel pretty good about this drive. This is the stuff of champs right here on a drive like this. Ooh. Henderson is hit in the backfield and wrapped up by Isaac Vega for a 2-yard loss.
Boy, Vega with a great penetration into the backfield to wrap up. Henderson looks like maybe even a slight loss.
We've got
on
a
the play
Ram
as well.
down.
Oh, we got another player down.
But what I was trying to say, JR, is that this is the other side of scheduling a rivalry game. We talk to the coaches all the time. Why don't you schedule more games against Riverside schools? Number 52, Nathan Horton. What toughness for this kid to run off without a trainer.
He's just going to come off the field without any help.
Great job from Nathan Horton. 22 tackles, leads the league with 6 for loss and 2 sacks this season. Great performance this year from Horton. So the thing is, this might be why you don't see more rivalry games scheduled in the preseason. This game is so heated and emotional, and while it's great to watch in certain instances, it's got to be pretty frustrating for a coaching staff.
Yeah, you come up with issues where you see guys hobbling off the field with injuries, and boy, Paulie just can't afford any more players to go down on their side of the field.
Well, the Bears can ill afford to not find the end zone here. They've used up 6.5 minutes of the third quarter, and being denied in this stage of the game down 22 could be the beginning of the end for them. They've got to figure out a way to put up points here. It's a 2nd down and goal from the 4. Out of the pistol, Henderson hands to the inside, and Ryan Dominguez is stuffed.
Picks up about a yard or two. Boy, we got another flag on the play. Wow, I think this one's going against the Rams as well.
And the guy who got thrown out of the game, Desmond Watkins, is now on the field.
Yeah, the coaching staff is getting to him because Watkins is kind of jawing at the referees at this point, so they're having to constrain him.
By the way, first tackle of the season, Peter Mesa of Ramona. So he comes right in, does Mesa, to spell the ejected Desmond Watkins, and makes a play on defense.
So discussion going down on the field. It looks like some extracurricular activity, most likely some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct call.
Thing is, for the Rams, if you don't convert on a drive with 3 unsportsmanlikes on the Rams, given this one's on them.
Yep.
Unsportsmanlike on – no, Pauly.
Really?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, it looks like maybe offsetting.
Okay.
Okay. Didn't see exactly what happened from the Pauly side of
Usually that's
element.
a replay the down type of thing, by the way. But, JR, you know, you think you've seen it all in high school football, and then you watch a game like this.
Well, if you want an entertaining game, you've certainly got it here on Riverside TV.
It's entertaining, but not in the type of way that you'd expect.
Still more discussion going on. Okay, now we
Most
get
of
back
these
to
penalties earned, by the way. We're saying the officials are doing everything that they can. There's nothing wrong with their officiating.
There's no doubting about it.
Tajon Henderson, plenty of room, but he high steps out to the 3-yard line, hammered by Dominic Chavez, number 4.
Kind of gave it the LaDainian Tomlinson look about it.
Right. Man, it was so great to see him run the ball back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. Back when the San Diego Chargers were the San Diego Chargers, not those
LA
Los
Chargers,
Angeles
huh?
Chargers as they are right now. Sorry for you Los Angeles Chargers fans.
And I'm one of them.
Well,
okay,
timeout.
so we've got a timeout. And, you know, the thing is, we were wondering why homecoming here in Ramona was so early this year.
That's true. Well, I think another aspect you got to bring into it, now that high schoolers are starting in August, you know, back in my day, we didn't start till after Labor Day.
Really?
Of course, that was many, many moons ago. So you have the element that school starts a lot sooner, so the aspect of homecoming kind of comes a lot sooner than what you would expect. I know back in my day, I mean, you wouldn't see homecoming until November in most cases, you know.
But for all of those guys out there who didn't earn homecoming king and queen honors, you know, from personal experience, I got to say, homecoming king is great, but valedictorian's even better. So
there you go.
That's what you got to root for. Be valedictorian of your program.
Now, I never got a prize or a crown for it, but I was the stay-at-home king.
Were you now?
Yeah, I was.
Interesting.
I stayed home a lot of the time.
You know, after my trip around the city as valedictorian and crowned as mayor of the city, I felt stay-at-home king might have not been a bad gig either.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding about all that stuff. 4th down and goal. Number 24 looks for a hole, and the Rams deliver the goal line stop. The Bears drive 7 minutes and 40 seconds and are stuffed at the goal line. At the bottom of that pile was the Rams' Tyrell Gully.
Got to give credit to the Rams for putting up the defense to stand up the Bears and to come up with nothing after all that time.
Man, that was a 74-yard, 7-minute and 40-second long drive. The Bears converted a 4th and 10, 2 third downs, and had 4th and goal from the 2. They did everything right until the very last play. They were composed. They were certainly resilient and had a great drive.
And they really needed the score at this point of the ball.
They had to have it.
Yeah.
Now they've got to make a stop here, and the Rams better be careful. They're backed up in their own end zone. Draw. Here's Bruins. He breaks through to the 5, dances to the 10, and is dragged down to the 13-yard line by Morris. Number 3, Larry Morris. Yep.
Wow. I thought he was shy of the marker, but no, he picked it up.
And that run gives Bruins the century mark in rushing today. 12 carries for 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that boosts his total to 667 yards rushing this year.
That's astounding. And Nick, like we've talked about earlier in the contest here, why the fact that no college is looking at this kid is beyond me.
Beyond. You know, there comes a point when the size doesn't matter. And
No.
he's not small. He's just not Derrick Henry.
No, exactly. Maybe he needs a little bit more meat on the bones, but this
Right.
kid can really get it done.
And that's the thing you see all the time. No shade to those guys, 5-star recruits across prep football. Bruins will have to leave a play. Number 26, Luis Villarreal will take his spot. Maybe Bruins had a helmet that kind of halfway came off.
Yeah, might have been
But
an equipment issue.
no matter what, you know, the funny thing is a lot of those 5-star guys have just as many yards as the no-star guys and just as much production and just as much ability. It's just And we saw it on the Thursday Night Football telecast. Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert were both ranked outside of the top 350 players in high school football. Like, they were completely overlooked.
Wow.
And wind up being two of the best quarterbacks of all time for their teams.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty elite quarterbacks right now in the NFL. And it just goes to show when you look around the scheme of things, it's easy to miss some players and to lack the ability to see the talents that they could produce for somebody.
Well, there's a good program up the street who actually plays their games here, RCC, Riverside College, fresh off their second JC State Championship and National Championship, led by head coach Tom Kraft, former San Diego State Aztec offensive coordinator and head coach.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you want to see some great quality college football and not have to spend a whole lot of time headed out to L.A. or Pasadena, RCC is a great way to watch some great college ball.
And check it out right here. Have your home game on Riverside TV. First and 10 of the 13. By the way, RCC plays on Riverside TV next Saturday afternoon. Here's Bruins. Another good move from Bruins, wrapped up by number 3, Larry Morris. First down, Ramona. There goes Bruins again. It's a gain of 17. Make it 16.
Boy, I tell you, when you need him to step up and get things done, he comes in at the right time. Nice gainer there for Bruins.
The funny thing is, we thought Bo Bruins had a rough performance earlier in the day, and now all of a sudden this is the guy we have grown to love on Riverside TV. Bruins is in the block. Great protection. Johnson goes deep and missed his man. Royce Mendoza was wide open.
Wow. You could see that formulating, and boy, he was definitely a step ahead of his defender, but just out of the reach of Mendoza's hand. Nice toss, but just not there.
That's what you don't see in the stat sheet. The Bears were so paralyzed by the run of Bruins that Mendoza runs right over the top of that defense. For all the touchdowns Johnson has thrown, that's one he might think about tomorrow. The touchdown he should have had right there.
Yeah, no lack of effort from Mendoza. He was stretched out fully to grab that football.
And that's a huge pet peeve as a former 5-star All-State wide receiver I was back in the day. A lot of these guys don't lay out for the football. They see it's a bit overthrown and they'll take it easy. Not Mendoza. Second and 10.
5-star.
5-star in my mind. I was actually a bench
like
warmer.
This is embellishment going on.
Yeah. Middle screen. Here's Bruins to the 40. And he's a 5-star in all of our hearts. Bo Bruins, 23-yard screen pass on a first down.
Again, I love the way Bruins is always looking for his blocking to take him through. He is effectively picking things out. Once he grabs the ball, looking to make the move. When he finds that seam, he is there.
And the funny thing is, he reminds me a lot of a Le'Veon Bell, or in basketball, Luka Doncic. It seems like he's never running fast. He's always just jogging and letting the offense develop. And I got to tell you, when you've got guys up front like this group for the Rams, I'd say it's pretty easy to patiently wait. By the way, the Rams started this drive at their own 2. Mendoza again. He's got it to the 10 and is taken down at the 2-yard line. The touchdown saved by the Bears, Oscar Nicholas.
You got to love the flack from a play calling standpoint that the Rams went right back again to that long play to Mendoza. This time coming up with some yardage and a first and goal situation for the Rams.
By the way, Lucas Quintero, not Nicholas, my apologies. Lucas Quintero saves the touchdown. Deep ball of 47 yards. Royce Mendoza, first and goal at the 2.
That was a great toss by Johnson.
I'd say he's got to feel pretty good making up for that overthrow a play ago. Bruins and Villarreal are in the Rams' backfield. First and goal from the 2-yard line. A touchdown here would all but seal a Rams win. Bruins crawls to the end zone and is down at the 1-foot line.
Oh, just shy.
Another Lucas Quintero tackle, his 4th of the ball game. Glad you're with us. Nick Rice joined by J.R. Ibarra on Riverside TV. By the way, we'll have a score update out of the Noda Vista Linfield Christian game on Riverside TV at the end of this drive. Inside run to Bruins, who dives into the end zone. It's a hat trick for Bruins. Touchdown, Ramona.
That's only the third TD of the evening for him, so what the heck. Once again,
and
showing why, from a statistical standpoint, one of the top scorers in CIF right now.
And the funny thing is, JR, he actually usually scores from much longer distance than a yard out.
That's true.
But the thing is, he can do that, and he can hit the long run, too. Villa, extra point is good, and the Rams have taken a 29-0 lead.
So nice conversion, if you will, to capitalize on the turnover on downs by the Bears of Pauley to march down the field essentially 100 yards and come up with the score.
98 yards on that drive.
That's very effective. I mean, not only effective, it's the type of thing that is going to keep giving you that momentum as the season progresses, especially as you start thinking about league play in just a couple of weeks.
By the way, on one of those last Pauley plays, K alums on the stop number 2 for him. We've got an update out of that Noda Vista Linfield Christian game. But first, here comes the kickoff. It's a squib. It rolls to the 15-yard line. Ben Madur with the flag thrown. Wrapped up with the 38-yard line. McGowan of Ramona makes the stop. Let's check out what the penalty is here.
Yeah, another flag down on the turf, something we've seen most of the night.
By the way, the Braves have completely run away with that game against Linfield Christian, up 36-3.
Wow.
And that game
they started kind of slow tonight, and they obviously got things going there in the latter part of the first half.
That game is just in the third quarter.
So really, when you look down the road, there's probably a very big collision course going to brew here between Ramona and Norte Vista in a few weeks.
Yes, and that game will be on Riverside TV Friday, October 21st.
Absolutely.
So right before Halloween, folks, make sure to join us on Riverside TV as Ramona will be here on Riverside TV against Noda Vista.
That is one to watch. I think that's going to wind up potentially deciding who the champion will be in the River Valley League.
Right. Of course, we have flex games, so Ramona might be on our airwaves more than this, but we definitely have them for that game and for the road game against Hillcrest in 13 days. Henderson is drilled for a loss. Isaac Guerrero makes the tackle.
Great penetration by the defense of the Rams. Comes up with a loss of almost 10 yards here on Henderson.
And for the Bears, that had to have been a deflating momentum swing. They go from a goal to go at the Ram 2. They couldn't score a touchdown. And then they watched the offense go 98 yards. So a game that could have been 22-7 is 29-0.
Yeah,
and all but over.
Very big difference makers so far, and boy, they are definitely in the hole as the clock is running and is about to expire and take us into the fourth quarter.
This should be the final play of the third quarter. Tajon Henderson, and he is tagged down by Guerrero yet again.
Looks like that'll be a loss of about 3 yards as well. So the clock is going to expire and take us into the fourth quarter.
And Ramona has all but sealed a win here. The Bears are going to need a miracle, down by 29 at the end of 3. Did you know that September is Rail Safety Month? You know, I still didn't know that. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, we know it now.
Tell us about
and
that, Nick.
California sure will leads the nation in railroad trespass fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass fatalities. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents. That means no biking or walking near tracks, only cross railroad tracks at designated crossings, So be sure to do your part, see the tracks, and think train.
I know we joke a little bit, but that is a very serious matter.
Absolutely.
There are various crossings here in the city of Riverside that you got to be mindful of. So, yeah, by all means. And young people, please don't play amongst the tracks, because I've seen that happen a lot. So at this point, what does John Rice tell his troops?
That's the $1 million question, JR. That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
And to me, I think with his discussion before the game got started, where he brought up it's still a preseason game.
Right.
We'll all be 0-0 in a couple of weeks when league gets started. The goal is to peak at the right time, too, so don't put too much emphasis on this. This fourth quarter is about getting better as a program.
Yeah.
And to me, we've harped on it throughout the game. You've got to get better at passing because at some point, whether you've got your quarterback or not, you're not going to win many games at all with 0 passing attempts.
Yeah, at this point, you got to have Henderson start tossing the football, which he's looking to do right now.
All right, first throw of the ball game, Henderson. And the pass is incomplete. It appears 88 was the intended target.
Actually, Jack Lua, number 87.
87, all right.
Lua is actually the leading receiver on this ball club.
10 catches for 145 yards to rank 5th in the Sun Belt League.
First pass attempt, and it comes in the fourth quarter. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, listen, we're not coaches. We're just analysts. We're just broadcasters. What do we know? But, you know, the thing is, when you want to win big football games, not regular season. I mean, you can win a lot of games in high school running the ball, pounding it down the throat. I mean, we've seen teams in college and in the NFL attempt 4 or 5 passes in a game, but consistent winning, even with the backup quarterback, and it's got to be frustrating.
Well, you take Norte Vista, for instance. I mean, Ken Batdorf, he primarily runs that football.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not uncommon, you know, especially here in River Valley League, to see teams just strictly stick to that running game and be very effective with it.
The thing is, there will come a point during the year where I'm sure any team that's run heavy would be glad to have practiced the just some sort of play action passing to keep a defense a little honest. Instead of having 2 safeties in the box, maybe just 1 guy up there.
High school football has definitely got a lot more complex in the recent years.
Those formations we've seen in this game, that's a little more complex than our day, okay? I'm no spring chicken either anymore, JR.
You're a lot more springer than I am.
Johnson goes deep, and he finds Valenzuela, and he's in for the touchdown.
Wow. Just like that.
3rd touchdown of the year to Jake Valenzuela, and Johnson has thrown his 11th of the season.
Man, 42 yards on the strike to come up with a touchdown. Great toss by Nathan Johnson. And just like that, Ramona is once again sitting at 35 points on the game. They have scored no less than 35 in each game they have participated in here in the 22 season.
And they average over 38 a game. Extra point from V off a good hold from Johnson. It's a line drive, and it is no good. Villa goes 3 for 4 on PAT kicks today, but a 2-point conversion throw. So all is forgiven. 35-0, a clean score for the Rams. And we head into the fourth quarter with this game all but over. And by this point, there's learning lessons to be had going into next week for both schools.
You know, at this point, I think you may see Pauly start to try to throw that football again, not in the attempt of trying to win this game, because I think it is kind of out of reach at this point.
Yeah.
But it at least will give them some ability to essentially work some experience to Henderson to throw the football.
Villa is just about ready to kick this one off. Our award-winning Riverside TV production crew for this late preseason matchup between Ramona and Pauly. From the 24-yard line, and Guerrero wraps up Madur immediately for the Rams. Guerrero's 5th stop of the ball game. A terrific performance by number 17, Isaac Guerrero.
So the special teams of the Rams obviously trying not to create a scenario where they might get a run back on the squib kick.
But really just the scenario where you're playing all three phases to prepare for next week. Ramona has a bye. That'll be a fascinating rest-rust discussion. You know, how much do you play your guys next week in practice, knowing you don't have a game this Friday to prepare for? Meanwhile, for Pauley, they're at home against Sultana this coming Friday the 23rd.
Yeah, it'll be a good week for the Rams to get some healing because they're going to need it with a couple of their key players off of the front line.
Shoot, I'm sure Pauley would love to have a bye week now. Their bye week isn't until next month, October 21st, in their second to last week of the regular season after they play Lakeside. Just underway in the fourth quarter, 35-0 Ramona.
Oh, flag on the play.
Of course.
Might have been movement here against the Bears. Oh, offsides against the Rams. Interesting. Did not expect that one. That provides a little spark of life here for the Bears.
And I'm sure the Bears would love to avoid the shutout.
Yeah.
And they came 2 yards away from avoiding that in the game or in the drive earlier in the second half. Unless we have a Pauley game flexed, this could be the last regular season game that we see with the Bears. But those flex games will make the difference.
There we go. That's a nice run right up the gut.
Chavez drags down Dominguez. That's a strong run of 13 yards to Dominguez and a first down.
So we're seeing a few different types of looks here by the Bears. So it looks like Coach Rice is maybe trying to experiment to see what comes up as the most effective for his squad.
And, you know, for the Bears, they've got to feel pretty good about the size and strength of a sophomore, Ryan Dominguez. To think that this kid is still an underclassman, he could be a force in this league for years to come. He lines up in the pistol formation right now. Number 9, Ryan Dominguez.
Good-sized kid.
Let's see if they hand it to him again. Indeed, they do. Look at him run right through one tackle and nearly another. Spilled by Isaac Vega. That is already his 7th tackle of the game. Number 40, Isaac Vega, on a gain of 1.
Boy, you kind of wonder why they didn't put Dominguez in a little bit earlier in this ball game.
That's the thing. They leaned so heavily on Tajon Henderson that, you know, you never know in a game like this what could have happened if they leaned more on him earlier. But with Coach John Rice, I'm sure he feels, you know, this is a learning moment, and also everyone at the end of the day is 0-0 going into league. So, you know, the scoreboard only means but so much for him early this year. Let's see if they hand to Dominguez again.
Oh, movement. Oh, my goodness.
False start.
Another flag that'll likely go against the Bears. 8th flag of the night for Pauley.
And the thing about those 8 starters that the Bears lost, you can kind of see the lack of experience in a game like this. Well, many of those guys in concussion protocol or, injured farther with a cast.
Well, offsides. Oh, that is very interesting. That's the second time in this series of downs.
You know, maybe they were drawn into the false start maybe they flinched a little bit to the Rams, but I got to tell you, I didn't really see much of anything.
From a offside standpoint, I did not either, but hey, that's why we're not wearing zebra stripes here.
Sure is. Another terrific Bears drive. They've played much better on offense in the second half. Miscommunication. Here's Henderson to midfield. escorted by Vega. There's number 40 again, Isaac Vega, but Henderson has run the ball much better in the third and fourth quarters of this game.
Yeah, he certainly has. He has 13 attempts so far.
6 in the first half, 7 in the second half.
A little bit of a miscommunication. It looks like he was intending it to give to Dominguez, but Dominguez just had no thought about taking the football.
And the thing is, he looks much more decisive now in the second half.
Yeah, that's
12 yards in the first half, and he began the third quarter with a 25-yard gain, and that had to build some confidence for Tajon Henderson.
I think that's a great terminology to use from what we've seen so far with Henderson.
It also helps that Desmond Watkins has been ejected from the game. So this defense looks a little different with him out. Henderson throws his second pass of the ball game, and it's a beauty to the team's best receiver. Diving catch for the sophomore, that's Jack Lua.
Nice connection there from Henderson to Lua.
23-yard gain and a first down with Chavez in the area.
Now this is a great-looking drive here by the Bears.
With a throw like that, you almost wonder why they didn't try it earlier. Henderson for 23, longest passing play of the ball game for the Bears. And Paulie's last trip this close ended with a goal line Ramona stand at the 2-yard line to close the third quarter. That defense has been pitching the shutout tonight. Ramona leads the league in scoring defense at 16 points per game allowed, and they played even better tonight. Out of the pistol, Ryan Dominguez punishes to the 17, maybe the 18. Vega on the stop.
We don't have any statistical height and weight stats on Dominguez, but he looks like an easy 210 pounds or so.
That's a great guess.
Yeah.
Well, we at least know his name now.
We do. At least we have a name with a number, unlike some of our other players,
right.
Which, again, is kind of a typical aspect that you get out of high school football.
Right. By the way, leaders of that Ramona defense you see right now, 40, Isaac Vega, 17, Isaac Guerrero, 23, Desmond Watkins out of the game, 7, Matthew Hidalgo, 3 of the top tacklers of this Rams defense tonight. They've been spectacular. Here's Dominguez. Wrapped up by Chavez on a short gain. He combines with Vega for the tackle, and there's some extracurriculars.
Surprised there was not a flag to come out on that one.
Javier Castaneda, and they're joined by one of the Bears, 64. Isaac Vega there at the left of your screen, number 40. Another 8-tackle performance for the linebacker tonight. Great effort for the Rams in favor of the ejected Desmond Watkins. And with under 7 to go, his defense is trying to avoid a scoring drive. And this almost means more than a win by this stage of the game. To pitch a shutout, pretty hard to do in CIF Southern Section football. 3rd and short, Henderson on a design run. Meets Vega in the backfield.
Man.
What a performance by Isaac Vega. Another big hit for the Rams defender.
That is really key here for the Rams, for Vega to get that type of penetration, especially on a 3rd down conversion attempt here by the Bears of Paulie. And it looks like they're going to try to bring in the kicking crew and at least get 3 on the scoreboard.
9 tackles, 2 for loss. Spectacular performance for Vega. And that shows the sort of championship medal for a guy who has a big role with Watkins ejected. He steps in a big, big way. 36-yard attempt.
Nice kick.
On the way from Elishua Deganefe, and it's no good.
He missed it.
And that could have been the Bears' last chance for points. 6:04 left in the ball game, and they're still down by 35.
Man, that'll leave you a bit dejected because it was not a bad drive here by the Bears.
Not a bad kick.
It was assisted by a couple of flags along the way, but nonetheless, it was a nice way to drive down the field and unfortunately come up with 0.
Yeah. 6:04 left in the ball game. We get another opportunity to check out that ground and pound spectacular Ramona offense. The Rams running back Bo Bruins, video game numbers for his illustrious Ramona career. 10 yards a carry and all-time 48 rushing touchdowns, including a hat trick today in just 17 career games. Bruins with a good block, 25-30. Bruins is on the run, breaks a tackle, and there he goes. 50, 40,
baby.
Bruins for 80 yards, all the way to the end zone for his 4th touchdown of the ball game.
Man.
What a run. Touchdown Rams.
That is all Bo Bruins. You saw him picking and choosing his blockers, looking for the right path to take. Once he finds that green, he is gone.
Well, we knew they could score, but we just didn't know they could score this quick. Bruins with his 4th touchdown puts this one away as the extra point is good. 42-0. Ramona.
Wow. 4 touchdowns in tonight's contest. It just kind of continues to add more on the stat sheet. Very likely will keep him in the top 10 in scoring in CIF Southern.
You know, I got to believe he did his average tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
He averages, Bruins, 3 touchdown runs a game.
Wow.
So actually this was just a little better than average, but not that far off.
So you college recruiters who might be watching this game,
yep,
you know, you need to have a look at this kid.
Well, I know we're just scribbling numbers. They're not exactly accurate, by the way, folks.
Right.
Our tackle numbers, our rushing numbers, they're all just handmade guesses. You'll get the actual statistics on the Max Preps and CIF in a matter of days. But based on your projections, JR, we'll get it after the play. How many yards does this guy have?
Let's see. At halftime, he was at, 91?
Right. By the way, this is the kid, K Alums, number 2. That runs it back to the 44-yard line.
Yeah, according to my calculations, he's definitely over the 200 mark from what I can see.
You know, you may not be a calculator, JR, but I got a calculator.
Once again, I'm not the human calculator.
Where's the number for the start of the second half?
Let's see. I believe we were at 11 carries.
Yep. No, we were at, 11 carries.
Yeah. So then we have.
Is that a 20? A 10 and a 20?
I think that is a 10.
Okay, folks.
Yeah.
Bo Bruins, how many carries is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 18 carries for 245 yards tonight. Wow. That is an average of 13.6 yards a carry. Over a first down every time he touches the ball.
Which is
Henderson.
Very typical.
Right. Stiff arm. And is dropped for a loss. Number 8, Michael Perez makes the stop. 3rd tackle of the game for Perez of the Rams. Well, for Tajon Henderson, you know, we could point at his overthrow on one end and some of his tough runs in the first half. This has got to be a pretty tenacious kid for just the workload that he has had tonight.
Boy, he's had to bear the brunt of this offense, even though there's been some ineffectiveness through parts of this game. Still, nonetheless, the amount of effort he has put into this is really A+.
Dominguez is pulled down for a loss. Number 99, Tyrell Gully, the senior at 6'5", 315, brings down the ball carrier, and that sets up 3rd down.
Like no gain on the play.
And we've just got a few minutes to wrap this one up. Player of the game, I'd say Bo Bruins.
Oh, that was a tough pick.
Right. A lot of, you know, to be fair, Desmond Watkins, Isaac Vega, 2 great defenders we've seen tonight. Isaac Guerrero had the only takeaway for the Rams tonight, but yes, Bo Bruins.
Plus, you also got to give a credit and shout out to Nathan Johnson.
Yep.
Another very effective game from a throwing standpoint.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards. 3rd and 12. This could be the final offensive play of the game for the Bears. And it's a check
nice
down
toss
from Henderson. Scratch that. 1st down, Pauly. Opening grab of the ball game to Ben Madur, number 7. and his 8th grab of the season.
Pretty good toss. You know, I think it's just a matter that Coach Rice is trying to give Henderson some experience and some confidence to get out there, toss the football.
I got to say, as not a 5-star, as a no-star, and a guy who, to be completely honest, folks, and that's what we're in the business of here on Riverside TV, I played high school football in a lot of these situations. 2 minutes to go, my team was down by 40. These were some very valuable moments
Absolutely.
to get a little more reps and a little more confidence going into a game. Henderson shoots it deep, and that is knocked away by number 2, Nicky Chavez, the defensive back out there for the Rams. 3 tackles and a pass breakup for Chavez tonight. Running clock, so, JR, this is the final minute or so of the ball game. Your thoughts?
You know, sluggish start here for the Rams. Kind of surprising to you and me, but boy, once they get their traction, they just have become a very elite team here in Riverside.
The Rams will improve to 4-1 this year, and winners of their last 2 games by combined score of 82-0. That'll get it done against Temescal Canyon and Poly. Meanwhile, the Bears will fall to 1-4 and hope to rebound next week with a Friday night matchup against the Sultans of Sultana. Chavez records the stop, his 4th of the ball game here on the run from Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson not only has the tenacity as giving the type of effort, but he is a very talented athlete. There's no question.
Absolutely. And you have to think that Henderson isn't playing his natural position either.
Right.
So, you know, Dominguez might get pushed to reserve running back, giving him a chance. Once Cloak gets back in there, and we cross fingers for all the fans of Riverside that Paulie gets healthy and wins league games in order to make that playoff push. The Bears have made the playoffs in 2 of the last 3 years, so they have an opportunity to do it again, but it's a rough start for the Bears this year. They fall to 1-4 and lose in a shutout to Ramona. The city belongs to the Rams tonight. Ramona 42, Pauley nothing.
Boy, I tell you what, as they get the bye week, this next coming week, it'll be a great time to heal things up, get themselves prepared for River Valley League play, and position themselves for a run in CAF, which could go very deep.
Bo Bruins of the Rams scores 4 touchdowns and runs for 245 yards in a video game performance and a shutout win for Ramona. Everybody contributed to the Rams win. The Bears were inches away from a touchdown in the 3rd quarter, and some big mistakes in the 4th quarter hurt their chances of putting up points. But this is a prototypical blowout, and the Rams get it done as one of the best teams in Riverside. They looked on paper like that, and tonight they proved it. They are one of the best teams in the area.
Absolutely, and I know once again we do have that collision course coming down the road between North Vista and Ramona. Of course, we can't, skip out on the fact that Hillcrest is there standing in the way as well. Really, River Valley League is going to be a tough one. You're going to get bruised, bloodied, and beaten up as the league season progresses here.
It should be fun, and we're just getting it started on the CIF Southern section. Make sure to join us for our other Riverside TV game of the week, North Vista and Linfield Christian in the 4th quarter right now. Jeff Gorham and Pep Fernandez have the call with the Braves and Linfield Christian. And until next week, Riverside TV has more high school football coming up next Friday and Thursday too. But until then, alongside J.R. Ibarra, I am Nick Rice. Good night from Ramona High School, where the Rams crushed the Bears 42-0. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month, so please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away